Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to go through the books that I read in January, a little bit late. In January I read 5 books. One was an audiobook, 2 were poetry collections, one was a children's novel and another was a YA novel. I'm just going to go through my thoughts, my opinions, my ratings and just the generic wrap up deal. I apologise profusely about the glare in my glasses. I just feel like I look too weird without glasses, so I'm working on it. I'm working on a proper setup, which is why my setup every like 3 videos seems to change. But for now I'm just going to go through my books. So the 2 poetry bind-ups that I read were both by Amanda Lovelace. The Princess Saves Herself in this one and The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one. I gave The Princess 4 out of 5 stars and The Witch 5 out of 5 stars. These both do have trigger warnings for depression, anxieties, sexual assault, eating disorders, specifically more on the anorexia side rather than the bulimia side. So if any of that triggers you, please be wary when reading. These both do come with trigger warnings at the very front. So she actually has a full list of the trigger warnings at the very front and also the very bottom to remember to practice self-care when reading these poems. They are fabulous. I enjoyed both of them. This one was only a 4-star read for me because I just personally felt that there could have been more in some of them. They could have said just that little bit more, but I found like The Witch did get its point across between each poem. There were some that I would just like, not the best, but majority of them were fabulous, hence my annotations on both. One thing that did frustrate me with The Witch is that the text on the inside is all red, and it frustrated me while reading it that it was all in red. I would have much rather it all be in black like it was for this one, for the princess. I'm curious to see if the mermaid actually is all written in purple. That would be interesting. I'm really looking forward to them. These are the first Amanda Lovelaces that I've ever read and I just fell in love. The Princess was my first read of 2018 and it was such a quick read and I just had a blast getting through and annotating them, seeing what connected, what resonated, and yeah, I love both of them, highly suggest them, but as I said there are some heavy trigger warnings for both of them, so please be looking after yourself if you decide to pick these up and those issues do trigger you. They're not the funnest to read. Some of them do hit home quite hard. A couple hit home for me, which I did not expect going into it, but I do highly suggest reading them. They're fabulous. So the children's book that I read in the month of January was The Wide Window by Lemony Snicket. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars because I hate Aunt Josephine so much. She is my least favourite guardian that the kids ever got besides Count Olaf, but I still love Count Olaf because you're supposed to like, he's evil, you're supposed to sort of continue his story, you have to really, you gotta put up with him. But Josephine just gives me the heebie-jeebies and I cannot stand her. The writing of the Snicket novels are interesting. If you're not prepared to always be told what a word means, then you're not gonna like them. But I absolutely fell in love with the Netflix adaptation and I've never read the proper books as a kid and I thought, well, this is perfect time to, and these are fabulous. I like seeing what they changed to make it work better on the show versus the books. The way Aunt Josephine is in this book could not have worked for the show. So looking at that in a critical standpoint, I am very happy with the changes that they made for the adaptation for the Wide Window episodes. The actual book itself works, but it wouldn't have projected well on screen, and I was really happy that I've decided to go with reading the books. I have only got the first 3. I need to pick up the rest, so I'm slowly making my way through them. If you do have kids and you're looking for an educational book that also breaches some tough topics such as orphans and losing of parents and trying to get their own points across, and you want them to, you know, extend their vocabulary, I do recommend these books. They are fabulous. This is just one that's fallen a bit short for me. So the audiobook that I read in the month of January, I don't actually have a physical copy, and that is The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. I gave this a 4 out of 5 star. It is the conclusion to the Raven cycle, and wow, this was the conclusion I was looking for. The audiobook is so immersive for it. I can't rave about the audiobooks more. I listen to my audiobooks through BorrowBox, so I go through my local libraries and I'm able to read and listen from those. I absolutely loved The Raven King. It was a great conclusion. Definitely summed up all the different storylines of, you know, Cabe's Water and looking for the king and all this, you know, magic, and it all went down really well. It was a sad ending, but it was an ending that we could see coming a little bit. I was never spoiled for this ending. I was never spoiled for anything in the Raven cycle, but I could see this ending come. I'm not spoiling it for anyone else who doesn't know, but I do suggest either physically or audio reading these books because they are just brilliant. And the last book that I read in January was a YA novel, and that was Dry by Neil and Jared Schusterman, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. In this book we follow Alyssa, who after the California taps run dry, there's no water source coming in, all the water's been bought from Costco, everyone goes absolutely crazy. Her parents go searching for some water and they never return home. They can never get contact with them, they keep calling their phones, they're going straight to flat. Everyone is searching for some sort of answer. So in this book we meet a crazy cast of characters who really test the limits on how far they're going to survive. So many of them turn into like water zombies where they are so dehydrated that they're going absolutely crazy. It is a scary reality that could happen to any of us. There are obviously countries that do live in a very limited water supply. I'm lucky that I'm in a country that has a good water supply, but it's something that is eventually going to run out. We're not always going to have it. It's scary to think about, but this book tackles it really, really well, hence why I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought the combination of the two authors was really good as well, father and son. I couldn't tell a difference between who was writing who. I have never read a Neil Schusterman, so I'm sure when I read one of his solo books I might be able to tell a difference, but it flowed really well between each character that I couldn't tell that it was a co-author group. I absolutely loved it. So those are all the books that I read in January. I hope I got the points across correctly, but if you've read any of these, please let me know down below how you felt. See you guys for another video very shortly. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!